The following is rated S for spoilers.
But man, I tell you, the real hot ticket is Rescue Rangers. There's even some buzz about a reboot. Someone started a Facebook fan page for it and everything.
Crikey, a Facebook fan page? I don't just give those away.
Oh, he's full of it, Monty. No one's talking about a Rescue Rangers reboot except for him.
What? The fans are hungry for it.
Hello and welcome to the Popcorn Hangover. My name is Alex.
My name is Graham.
And today we are talking Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, and the perks are just going for it. Just going all in. Graham, how's your week been?
Dude, it's been a busy week, but dude, it's this was easily a highlight of the week, watching this movie.
Surprising. So we got lots of big blockbusters coming up. As if you're watching this as it drops, we are on our way to an early showing of Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah. Dude, it's gonna be so fun.
If you want to hear our initial thoughts on that, patreon.com/thepopcornhangover. Check out the Parking Lot Talk, our bonus show there. And we'll be doing a full episode on Top Gun next week. But like, you know, we had a week off and we were debating like what should we talk about.
Yeah. Nothing new dropping in the theaters. But
yeah, like there's nothing really major. I mean, there's Downton Abbey, but we're not. I don't know about
never
you.
Seen it. Couldn't care.
Don't know anything about it. But there's like one critic that I like follow and respect. Mm-hmm. And he left a very, very positive review, and I was like, oh, maybe I should just check this out. I don't think a movie has ever made me laugh like this much. This was easily like the biggest shock like of all.
Dude, it was I had heard about it like coming out, and only because like John Mulaney and Andy Samberg were like the Chip and Dale voice actors, and I was like, oh, that's like kind of fun, and like I've like never grew up like watching Chip and Dale, like I didn't know, like I knew about them, but like
it was like just before our time.
Yeah, and I just like I was like, yeah, that could be like fun and cute. I just didn't know like what they were gonna base it off of or how the movie was gonna take, and the way they did this was. Dude, it was amazing. Mm-hmm. It was so fun.
It was directed by Akiva Schaffer, written by Dan Greger and Doug Mann, starring Andy Samberg, John Mulaney, and Kiki Lane. Those are like the three top billings, but like, yeah, literally everyone is in this movie.
Dude, yeah.
J.K. Simmons, Seth Rogen.
I put the Viking, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
You could just go on and on like with the people who are in this.
But then not even the people that voiced it, just the amount of like little cameos and characters that just popped up from years and years of animated shows, movies, cartoons, like it was crazy.
Everything, yeah. Came out May 20th, 2022 on Disney Plus, free for all users.
Yeah, no premium access.
Because I told you that and you were like, did you pay $30? So I was like, no, it's just...
Yeah. Well, I saw something on like Twitter that was like, yeah, like new premium access, like movie for Disney Plus, and I was like, I'm not going to pay $30 for that. Like, if it was in theaters, I'll go pay for it in theaters, but I'm not going to pay $30 for that. And then, I asked you, and you're like, no, it's just on Disney Plus. And I was like, no, it's not. So I checked, and I was like, all right, we're going to watch this.
You can watch it right now. It had an estimated budget of $50 million.
Seems...
It's a pretty decent... It's for a straight, free kind of deal. It's not a bad budget. No. Critic reception, it has a 79% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes, 83% audience score.
It's not terrible.
Which is pretty, I'd say it's pretty good. It's certified fresh. Yeah. IMDb gave it a 7.2 and Letterboxd gave it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. So
okay, out of 5. I was like, out of 10. I was like, that's horrible. Okay, no, cool.
Out of 5. So, I mean, overall, and I think those like kind of that reception is pretty in line with like what I would give it. I gave it a 3.5 on Letterboxd. Yeah. It's not a cinematic masterpiece by any means. Like, no, but it subverts your expectation. It's not the typical Disney reboot.
No. And that's what I thought. I figured like a whole storyline, but like I never would have thought like the pace of like how they're just like, I wouldn't say like washed up, but how they're just like they're actors in the real world trying to get their next big break. And I'm like, that's such a weird way of looking at it. But dude, that was so fun.
Yeah, it was really clever because I mean, you think Rescue Rangers reboot, you think it's going to be the same thing,
right? Just newer done. CGI or something, or
yeah. But this was a totally different take on like their actual they're actors,
driving
in
cars,
this show, right?
Living next to the real world, like that was
they had a pet dog. In general, I thought like the way that they handled like just developing this. Explaining like what this world was very quickly and just all the different animation styles was super cool to see. Like even just like everyone's in different like frame rates and like
Yeah.
you know the cop from Gumby was like actually like it. I don't know if he was, but it looked like it was actual stop
claymation
motion,
or
like
yeah.
animation, like it was the sock puppets and
Yeah.
just puppets. I don't know.
Such a weird mix of.
It was a weird mix. I want to know like what that was like on set. Like how do you?
Because I mean, I already like just from seeing movies that come out like Sonic and like the way they've done, like, I mean, you know that they're just talking to either a puppet or nothing. Like the real life actors working with that. But yeah, when you have a mix of like physical, like Muppet, and then you also have like animated Gumby, and then you have like 2 different animation styles for Chip and Dale. Like you have like they're not
And a
there,
real person.
but and a real person. Yeah, that was so weird. It was so, dude, it was cool.
Yeah, it was really interesting. I want to talk about. I think one of the highlights of the film was Ugly Sonic.
Yeah,
That
100%.
That might have been the biggest surprise. Like, just also them being like at a convention and like just the loser
Yeah.
convention. That was
That was
funny.
so clever.
It reminds me of like the stuff that like comes around here where everyone gets excited and there's like this C like level character from this
Yeah.
crappy show no one ever saw is going to be in your city, and it's like I don't
Want to go see that. I'm
don't
not going to go
care.
pay for that. Yeah.
yeah, but like I don't know, that was so funny, and just I want to know how much money they spent to be able to do that.
Oh, 100%.
And I feel like when you're talking about this a little bit before, like you can tell they spent money on it because he showed up the first time, it was hilarious and it was shocking.
Yeah.
And the second time they went back and it was funny, and then the third time I was like, okay, this is
Right.
I'm over this. But I feel like it was just because they spent
They
a
had to get their
ridiculous
money's
amount of
worth,
money
for sure.
to make fun of Paramount's
Ugly Sonic.
poor decisions.
And that was so smart too. Like pulling like a washed up, like ugly version of Sonic that didn't make the cut. He almost did, but he didn't. And then just like, yeah.
He's got his own FBI show now.
Yeah.
Like,
Like, dude, that's so funny.
yeah, and all of it. And even just the concept in general was brilliant. Like the way this could have been an R-rated movie. Easily.
Yeah, they could have
If-
gone any direction with it.
If like they could have kept the exact same story and just taken out all of the like I don't want to call them
Family-friendly.
innuendos, but like stinky cheese, for example. Like
Yeah.
all those times, like it made it funnier. It would have been funny, period, if like Chip and Dale were talking about buying like meth. But it was even funnier because they were calling it stinky cheese.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, it was like that was hilarious, and just the whole concept of like the what is it? It's Peter Pan. I forget what they call him.
Something Pete.
Yeah, it
Smiley
was-
Pete Smith.
I
Wasn't
I
Stinky Pete.
It wasn't Stinky Pete. It was it Smiley Pete?
Sweet Pete.
Sweet Pete.
Sweet
That's
Pete.
what
That
it
was Will Arnett.
Yeah.
That's funny. That made that even better.
Yeah, so like the whole idea of like Sweet Pete is upset that he can't be in another Peter Pan movie, so he's like taking all these characters and
They can't be
bootlegging
in their
them,
movies either.
making
Yeah.
like Chinese bootlegs. of
Maybe
these
a
movies.
bootleg, like a whole like operation. That was
like that was so brilliant because that would make that's totally like a something that's like trafficking basically.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
it's
in an animated
it's
sense of
the PG version of trafficking. Like how do you come up with this?
I don't know, man. But it worked. And that's the thing. Like, I don't think they could have gone into your direction with it. I really feel like they went all in and they did it right. And so far, it's worked really well. Because as of this being out, we've literally a couple days so far, and all the reviews it's gotten so far.
Yeah,
have been
rave
great.
reviews. I wonder if Disney. I mean, it's not that Disney really is really struggling right now, but like, I wonder if they're like kicking themselves for not making this a theatrical release.
Oh, probably.
Because I easily would
Even
have
that, just even a premiere.
even a premiere. I easily would have spent $30.
Yeah,
probably,
well-
maybe not to stream it, but like to go to the theater, I would have. That's
would've
like
paid it
2
for
or
a
3
ticket.
times. Like
Right.
I totally would have gone to
Yeah.
the theater and seen this multiple times.
Definitely.
Just because it was a really good time.
I could have seen, I mean, especially this being like somewhat of a family friendly aspect, or like parents and the older generation kind of grew up around these characters. I mean, they would have, I feel like a lot of families would have easily sat down, 4 or 5 people, watch this movie, $30 easy.
Oh yeah, and like
But-
I mean the obvious comparison is Free Guy. Like
Yeah.
they're
Having that video game, real world.
in terms of like
type
the
of mix.
the self-aware, like we're gonna kind of make fun of like the tropes. They're kind of the same thing, but the thing that I think makes this, I don't want to say it's better. I think I liked Free Guy more, but maybe just because I relate to it more.
Yeah.
Which is also to my point of like, I think the thing that makes this probably more successful is everyone can relate to this more because everyone grew up on Disney, like in some aspect, and so I didn't understand all the episode references they made, but like I understand some of the stuff. Like I've never seen an episode of the original show, but you don't need. You don't
they
need
do really
to.
well explaining like the original gang they had, and then how they all kind of went their own way, and like you don't have to be tied into any of it.
A kid there were playing jokes in there for kids, and like you said, like there were so many jokes and innuendos.
Yeah.
The whole scene on Main Street.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, I couldn't breathe. I was laughing so hard. The whole like.
They explain it, make it seem like such a little bad
like
place.
Everyone's just like
cheery and happy,
and Dale's like, oh no, like this guy, he's selling your social security numbers, like he's selling drugs, like Muppet fights. That was my favorite. I lost it.
Like anytime I'm low on money, I'll just come down here. And I was like, what? I was like, this is like, that's crazy.
Like, because after that line, after the Muppet fights line, I texted you and was like, this is the greatest movie I've ever seen.
Oh, dude, it's definitely worth a watch. It's so funny.
So, I mean, I think one of the biggest problems that this movie is going to have is the very poor like marketing campaign around it. And we kind of talked about it a second ago. Like, I had zero interest in this movie at all.
I don't think I've seen any like advertisements or any trailers even for it. Like I've
definitely seen like, seen some trailers and things. I haven't seen as many as they normally do.
Yeah. I really just saw, I mean, I got kind of word of mouth from like TikTok. Really, I saw a few people like review it because of how surprising it was. And then, like I said, in the beginning when they cast, Andy Samberg and John Mulaney, and I was like, oh, that'll be like really funny. But otherwise, if I wouldn't have kind of gotten picked back up on it, there's no chance I would have gone and just watched this willingly without kind of a push in that direction. But
right, well, even like with this, the things I did see, like this, it felt like another Disney reboot that I didn't care about. And like in general, I think Disney Plus originals are kind of garbage.
Yeah.
Like I can't, in terms of movies, like, shows are, you have like your Star Wars and MCU stuff. That's a different Disney category.
Yeah. I'm talking about like over there on Disney Channel back in the day.
I'm talking like Noelle with Anna Kendrick, that Christmas movie.
Oh, you can't talk bad about that. That movie slapped.
I actually never
saw it. No, that was actually so good.
But like you have
that was such a funny movie.
Home Sweet Home Alone.
Yeah, I could not have cared about that. They're just trying to bring
my
back
brother's a massive Home Alone fan, and even he was like, that is garbage.
I'm not at all. I've seen those movies.
What?
Couldn't give it. I honestly was like, never watched them growing up. Never watched them when they came out.
The original one is really good. Home Alone 2 Lost in New York I like it more than most people.
No interest ever.
It's
try and go back and watch it again. I don't know.
You got to watch again. It's just a kid.
I'm
like,
a little
beating
more.
the crap out of.
See, that's the thing though. Is I'm like more like literal in the sense of like, if there's marbles on the floor, they're not going to trip and fall like a classic cartoony fall, and they hit their head and roll down a flight of stairs. Survive any of that. If anything, it's two grown men against a kid.
I think it was you have like Matt Pat who does like game theory.
Like on YouTube
channel.
Yeah, and they went through and actually discussed
I'm pretty sure he did one where he
like
tried to calculate like how much like the guy, like those burglars' medical bills must be because of all the things they had to do.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was off topic.
Yeah.
I don't know. The only other Disney Plus original that I can remember watching and liking was the movie Clouds. Did you see that?
No.
I forget who it was about. It's a biopic.
I liked Soul. Soul was good. Was that Disney?
That's Pixar though. I don't count that because that was just Disney saying we don't want to spend the money.
Right.
To
I honestly couldn't remember if that was. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Soul was good, but I would. Yeah, that's like that Marvel, Star Wars thing where I feel like that's not.
It's not the Disney original. It's not. It's a two company.
It's a Disney Plus original, quote unquote, because but it's not. The only other movie I remember seeing is called Clouds. It's about Zach Sobiek. I forget his last name. He was a one-hit wonder. Where basically
is it animated?
No, it's live action. Yeah, he's I don't know. He was like a popular high school kid. Everyone loved him. He was super nice.
Oh, he had the guitar and the.
He did have a guitar. Yeah. He
I
and
saw
his
something for this. Yeah.
yeah he and his best friend always said they wanted to like record an album together, and then he finds out he's terminal with cancer.
Tough.
And so it's him dealing with that. That is the only movie that is like just made me uncontrollably sob at the end. Like it was so sad.
Disney movie. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. That's the only one that I can think of. Even then, though, it wasn't anything spectacular.
Yeah.
So I feel like
I'm trying to think of what else they might have come out, because well, here's the thing. Besides like the Marvel and Star Wars, I don't keep up with a lot of the content that they drop, unless I'm just like casually on there and I'm just like, oh, that movie looks kind of cool. Or
I've been watching the '90s X-Men cartoon.
Oh yeah,
That's
they dropped that on there.
It's a great like background show. You know, just put it on while you're
like doing little things or
like I
working on
need
stuff.
I'm on like a lunch break or something. I only have 30 minutes. Like it's the perfect.
Yeah,
it's perfect like show to put on there. I don't know. Rescue Rangers is definitely. I mean, if they produce more content like this, I will definitely continue like to keep up with what they're putting on there.
Because I think the biggest thing wasn't it was with just a different take. It was a reboot that wasn't a reboot.
Yeah, well, even like
like how
the promotional material was like, this isn't a reboot, it's a comeback.
Yeah, a comeback. Yeah, it was just a continuation of what they've already done, and it was so fun to actually see that.
It was also interesting to see Disney, who seems to take themselves pretty seriously,
do something
like this,
the style
where this is a total satire that is making fun of everything that they have built their business model off of, like the whole reboot thing.
Yeah,
literally, I'm surprised you didn't get a Star Wars reference.
There's a couple. I mean, you saw like the little.
I would have.
There's a Leia and Kylo dressed up rats.
I would have liked to start like, oh yeah, it's like making another making a joke about rebooting Star Wars over and over and over again, and it just getting progressively worse. Each trilogy just gets worse as they reboot it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that was another like big shock for me, was just the fact that this is a Disney movie, and the fact that like they allowed this to be made.
Yeah.
Because I mean, they're very protective of their self-image and everything.
Yeah.
And like we said, like this could just change a couple words, and this could be an R-rated movie
for sure,
easily.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm surprised that like this got made.
I think that's one of the reasons probably why they didn't do like a larger release or even like the premiere access. It's just because
that's a good point.
I feel like Disney honestly might not have been as confident with this movie as it has been doing. I don't think they expected this type of reaction from it,
which is surprising because
that's what a lot of people
want. They technically did Free Guy. I don't know at what point in the process they got involved, because it was originally a Fox thing. But I mean, at the end you had the whole lightsaber cap.
Yeah, you still got all the
so
fun.
They were definitely involved at some point in post.
Even more if it was
Guy,
just like a director reached out, hey, can we do this? And they were like, yeah,
maybe,
sure. And then that was added. Like, I feel like they didn't have much.
That's true.
I don't think they cared to have as much insight.
But my point is like, this is basically Free Guy.
Yeah.
They saw the success of Free Guy because it was incredibly successful.
Dude, it was so good.
I wonder why they didn't think this would work. But yeah. I haven't thought about that. Like maybe it was just a matter of this is a little
risky,
a little raunchy, a little out there. Maybe we shouldn't promote this.
But that's the thing is, I feel like a lot of people see these movies and they're just like, that might be, it's too risky and stuff. But he's like, when you throw this many characters in, you throw in the jokes that you did throw in, I could put a kid in front of the TV. They're not going to pick up on half the crap I picked up on. Even when I was a kid, I didn't pick up on half the crap that was on TV. Like, you don't pick up on that.
But the problem isn't the kids. It's the parents who are extremely overprotective.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, the kids aren't going to get it, but
yeah.
But the parents who do are going to freak out because what if their kids do get it?
Oh, no.
Anyway, I don't know. I want to talk about the acting for a second.
Yeah.
Kiki Lane, I could have done without her. I didn't care. I didn't need her there.
That's kind of how I felt too, especially towards like in the beginning when she was like, oh yeah, like we can't do too much. It was like, it made more sense to talk to her like at a real person. I kind of thought that was her idea. But then when they actually like brought her back in and then she was like going back on like, oh, I had this bus that went wrong and I did this. And I was like, I don't care about the backstory on that. It didn't seem too needed. Besides the fact that they definitely at one point try and like pin it on her and made her seem like the bad guy a little bit. But
But even then, and we'll talk about it in our next segment. Like this was a very cookie cutter in terms of like
a little predictable
plot. Yeah, this is not there to like
blow minds or be like
surprise you and like
not gonna be on a cliffhanger.
Yeah. I don't know. I could have done without her character. I didn't really care.
Yeah.
Andy Samberg, I thought did a fantastic job.
So funny.
You see all sorts of like struggling artist stories, but it's always like a coming of age, like before they're successful.
Right.
I don't think we've seen enough of these things where they did have success
start
and now
slowing
what do
down.
you do?
Right. Yeah.
I thought Andy Samberg did a fantastic job. John Mulaney, I was a little disappointed by, and I think it was just a script. Like John Mulaney in general, I think is a really funny guy.
Oh, 100%.
And can go in a million different directions.
You feel like if you maybe had a little more like freedom with what he...
I think just the character of Chip being like super serious all the time.
Yeah. Slowed him down.
Did not help him in that regard. Because like I keep thinking back, there's I don't know if he said it in an interview or maybe it's in like a featurette or something, but because he was the voice of Spider-Ham and Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
And he talked about how like when they were recording, like, you know, they would say, okay, like, you know, say the lines that are written, and then you can just take 5 minutes and riff, do whatever you want. And so he would go in and be like, man, this is effing ridiculous. Like, F this guy. Like just going off being John Mulaney. And they're like, hey, this is a kid's movie. You can't say that. Yeah. He's like, oh, okay, sorry. Like, I mean, not again. I don't think they would have allowed him to drop F-bombs.
Oh no, for sure. Yeah,
be full on. But I would have. I was expecting more
of his own like kind of spin on it, not just like
more John. This did not feel like John Mulaney.
Yeah.
This felt like a stick to the script kind of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas Andy Samberg, I think, was able to riff a little more.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know.
Definitely.
I'm just.
I feel that way, especially just because kind of based on the two characters. Like Andy Samberg definitely had, I think, could have a little more fun with Dale because he was the fun dumb one. And then John Mulaney kind of not got stuck with it, but.
Was it just me, or did the CGI Dale look kind of creepy? I was not a fan.
I just felt like I watched the Alvin and the Chipmunks. Maybe that's just all I saw. They put him in a red shirt, and I was like, that's all I'm watching.
They made jokes about that too.
Yeah,
which I'm more of an Alvin and the Chipmunks kind of fan. Like that was.
Which like usually growing up, I watched those movies. Yeah, I watched those movies. Never watched Chip and Dale. That's kind of how my aspect, but no, that's all I felt like I was watching. It was like it's a CGI chipmunk in a red shirt. That's Alvin, bro. Like that's not, but no, I don't know. I thought it was fun. I kind of liked the whole idea of him getting the CGI surgery.
Yeah, that was a really clever idea.
I was like, that is funny. Like that's cool. But
so yeah, we are going to take a quick break,
Yeah.
and when we come back, we are going to dive in on how the heck this movie worked and the perks of going all in. So we will see you in a bit.
dude, I'm so glad we're doing this.
Yeah, for sure. It's been a lot of fun, and it's not as difficult as I thought it would be.
No, not at all. Like Anchor has made it especially easy when it comes to like actually getting our podcast out on the air, because when hosting on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast on all the listening platforms. So easy getting it over to Spotify, getting it to Apple, wherever you're trying to get your podcast to.
Yeah, I think we're on like 7 platforms just through Anchor, and not even just the distribution, but even just creating the podcast. Like there's so many recording and editing tools within it, so you can record, edit, add music in, sound effects, all sorts of things directly through Anchor, and it is free.
Dude, that's amazing.
It's incredible. So if you would like to start your own podcast, just like ours, go to anchor.fm on your desktop device, or you can go on to your mobile app store and download the Anchor app. Welcome back. We're talking Chip and Dale, Rescue Rangers.
2022.
The 2022 one, not the
show.
Not the 90s cartoon.
I didn't even know there was a 90s cartoon until I watched this movie. Yeah. Because I've always wondered, when I went to Disney World when I was like a kid. And I actually remember getting a picture, and we had the little autograph books, getting it signed by Chip and Dale. One had a black nose, one had a red nose. I couldn't tell you what they were from. I mean, I never knew.
You just knew that they were.
I just knew that they were somehow
characters.
Disney related. I think we used to watch the I don't know, so those Mickey Mouse cartoons.
Clubhouse?
Maybe, yeah, something that would have Chip and Dale in it, or something had the two characters. But I never knew what their what they were from. I just knew that they were like Disney related.
Well, I don't know, but
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they were like, because like I think all of them were in like the shorts that they did, like
yeah,
and then I think Rescue Rangers came later.
after. Yeah,
I think they were already like a thing,
yeah.
and then I don't know. I'm pretty sure.
But see, that's something too. I'm surprised it was never like in this. They didn't touch on anything. They did like besides like getting their show.
So I just thought about this now, but like there isn't really like any Mickey Mouse or I think they
Disney.
Did they make? They didn't talk about like Goofy or Donald. Like they didn't talk about any of the
characters.
The
they
characters
who
who normally interact with Chip and Dale.
And they talked about their auditions and like they got like that it looked like some like sports commercial or something that they showed like their first like TV airing. It was just them in a locker room with like just other random characters, nothing like specific. But then they were all like, "Oh yeah, getting like acting was struggling stuff." Then we got the call for our movie or our show, and I was like,
what happened in between?
Yeah.
Well, because like when I was watching it, like they kept talking about like Pete, and I was thinking it was like
Pete
like
from
like the
like
bulldog
cat.
Pete.
It's a cat.
Is it a cat?
It's a cat. I think it's a cat.
I think no, you're definitely right. It's a cat. Yeah, I just kept thinking about like I thought like that's what it was, and then when it was Peter Pan, I thought
that's a little more clever.
Like
Yeah,
an
it really was.
old Peter Pan who's never gonna get a reboot because
he's old.
Which
I've never thought about that. Too,
which in itself is kind of flawed because you have Hook, which is about when Peter Pan got old.
Yeah, yeah.
But,
they already kind of touched on that, but didn't it involve? Did it involve Peter Pan? Old Peter Pan?
Yeah.
It's like the Robin Williams like Hook.
Yeah.
Never saw it.
What?
So I don't know. Yeah, I've never seen it.
Oh my gosh, you kicked off the podcast.
Every time we do one of these, I think I'm like, yeah, I've never seen that one. Nope, never seen that movie. Never seen that movie. I need to make a list and
we need to like come up with we need to get you educated on cinema history. But anyway, I'll forgive you for it this time. This was a very out there movie, and we touched on it earlier, but like this is kind of like Free Guy, and Free Guy came out 6 months ago. I didn't know it came out.
It was last year.
I mean, it was last year, but I'm trying to think. That was like fall of last year, right?
Yeah, I think it was like September, October. So yeah, about
so maybe like 9 months.
9 months, yeah.
9-10 months.
Could have a baby in that time.
You could. Maybe Free Guy. Maybe this is Free Guy's baby.
Kind of feels like it, yeah, and the way it works.
Like, and those are both technically Disney properties. I know that Disney inherited Free Guy in the Fox deal, but there's lots of Disney references, particularly at the end, that I don't think would have happened without that deal happening. So I'm like,
I feel like this isn't even one of those movies you could make. I mean, because like Chip and Dale would not be the main characters.
Yeah,
like
how many times can they do this?
See, I was trying to think about that because like I would kind of love to see like the same treatment, I guess, to some other characters that have been like we haven't seen much of recently. But that's the thing is if they do that, that's just another repeat movie.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, even in the movie, they kind of like nod on the fact that like when like the chief of police is like the bad guy and they're like, yeah, we saw that coming. How did we not see that coming? Like it
happens in every
episode.
predictable
thing. And they were like, yeah, we said that too, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I was like, I mean, yeah. And like, I feel like this strangely could be one of those things where they try it again and it's going to work.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right.
Yeah. So, Free Guy, we got video games and it was like making fun of the whole GTA video game kind of thing. This is kind of making fun of the whole like I'll say, I don't want to say Disney, but like childhood characters kind of world. What kind of area do you want to see like next be given this treatment? I think Disney has to do a Deadpool movie somehow, and
it's in the works.
Probably not gonna be rated R.
It better be.
I
think they're gonna get a lot of crap if it's not.
I feel like it has to be. I don't know. I could see it going either way. I think it would be fun to do like a Deadpool style movie that's just making fun of superhero movies.
Like a fourth wall break.
Just,
like while it's going on, just be like nah,
this exact thing, but superhero, like MCU, maybe even like throw in some like DC stuff.
I could see that. Almost just like And I kind of feel like we almost got that a little bit with like a Hawkeye feel, because that's kind of like what I imagine if they were to take it that direction, is it would be like, how the superheroes act like in the real world, like how they're treated day to day, people recognizing them, but also like if nothing crazy has happened, like who remembers the guy with the bow and arrow, like, you know, kind of a thing, like just like Chip and Dale, like when they were dressed up at the end, they were like, oh, everyone's like, it's Chip and Dale, it's the Rescue Rangers, like it's cute. But other than that, they're just. But
I would want something more satirical like this in Free Guy, because like, you know, I was sitting there thinking about it, like Wreck-It Ralph was also kind of similar, like in that style, but Wreck-It Ralph wasn't a satire. Like that was just, it was a different perspective on like what it's like to be a villain. Kind of like how Hawkeye is like a different perspective on being a superhero.
Right.
I would want to see like just something just making fun of the whole waiting. I mean, they already do kind of make fun of like waiting for post-credit scenes, the whole it's over thing and Doctor Strange. And I think my favorite one for all time will be Captain America and Homecoming. Patience. Don't you hate when you wait so long for something, all for no reward? Like it's so like, I don't know, it's so great. Like I would want to see just a movie that's just like laughing at me for.
I feel like they would do that. I feel like it's something that someone at one point or another would definitely put together.
But do you think it would work? Like,
I do.
Do you think this will work a third time or fifth time or a 10th time? Like, how many times can Disney or anyone really do this? I feel like Disney's the only one that can.
Well, here's the thing. I think so far the movies we've seen, so like Free Guy, this, even like a Wreck-It Ralph, if you want to kind of include that in the mix, they've done it, and so far they've done it well. I think that I honestly don't know if we've had it enough to see it not be done right, because every movie we've seen so far, it's different. It's got the same like open world aspect where you're definitely diving into more than what's normally there, but like I feel like we could easily get this 5 times through. 2 might suck, 3 might be good hits, and then we'll get another few down the road where this might be a new formula of movies. Like we might actually just get this instead of your generic like. I mean. You know, for the longest time, you had like that classic where like the guy's a hero going to save the girl. You had that cliche like storyline, and it worked for so long, and now no one wants to see that. No, that's not going to work anymore. I feel like this is kind of like one of those like a lot of cliches are out, and like this might be a new start of like a new style of
the
movies.
Satire genre.
Yeah,
that I would be interested. That's a good point. I'd be interested in like.
I don't want every movie to do this.
A little. Yeah, that's the thing is like because like we said, it's been like 9 months since Free Guy. Let's let it.
And granted, Wreck-It Ralph came out what, like 2015? 20 something, maybe, really long time, maybe even longer. Yeah. And we had a pretty decent break. But I mean, even then when they introduced that, like, no one really kind of took a look at like what went on behind the machine. Like you watch your game, you play your game, and then like what happened to those characters after, you know? Like that was some fun little dive in. Same thing with this. Like I feel like as long as we don't get it too frequent, they could do this as much as they want. I don't know with what characters, I don't know with what genre or style, but to
play devil's advocate, and just from like some of the reviews I've read, like, and some of them are just ridiculous. It's the reason I only follow one critic, like actually follow one. Because he does a good job. But like, there were a lot of reviews that were saying there was one in particular that it was so idiotic that I just could not comprehend how this person is being paid to write reviews. But their headline was, if you take out all the cameos, what do you have? A movie that sucks. Or it was something like, take out all the cameos and you don't have a good movie. And I'm like, that's literally what this, like, you missed the entire point of this movie. It's to make fun of how Disney owns literally everything. And how they can just pay to throw Sonic and the Coke Bear into their movie that has nothing to do with those characters. Like, they're just side characters. Like,
they can just use them.
Like that is literally the point of this movie. That's like saying like, oh, it's an Avengers movie. Take out all the action sequences and what do you got? Like a really boring coming of age story. And it's like, well, yeah, those are action movies. That's how
you need the action. It's part of the movie.
That's what makes it the movie. Like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people, seeing that there's going to be cameos and things, and even now, like with the build up to this, I saw like, seeing like, oh, they're going to throw in all these references to things. I was like, okay, this is going to be like
trying too hard.
Yeah, like they're trying too hard. This will be like what I said for our Doctor Strange episode. Like the whole Illuminati sequence was
It was fun to be there. It was
awesome to see. I'm glad I saw it. If you took it out, the movie would be the exact same. And it'd be 30 minutes shorter.
Right.
It was just there to give an applause from the audience. And I thought, I figured that's what this was going to be. But like,
surprisingly, no.
They went all in with it. And like, I think there's something we talk about a few times now is like, if you just let people go all in with their ideas, sometimes you're going to flop.
Yeah.
At the prequel trilogy. But like, in moderation, like you can get some cool stuff. Like Everything Everywhere All at Once just became A24's highest grossing movie.
I saw that.
And that's another really good example of just
giving kind of freedom to the...
Not even just being given the freedom, but like, being given the freedom to like just
move forward with the idea.
For it.
Yeah. Yeah. Not having to change things up every few days or something, or, that didn't work out, let's move this. Like,
yeah. I'd like to like dive in and see how much, like, where this idea originated from. Like, did Akiva Schaffer like come up with this? Like, who? I can't imagine Disney, like some head at Disney was like, we need to put a team together and reboot Chip and Dale, but it's not going to be a reboot. It's going to be a satire making fun of our entire
I see it
company.
as someone, big head Disney sat down and was like, hey, let's reboot some older characters. Let's get this kind of back in the mix. Like, here's the thing. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw something like with like Mickey Mouse, like related here. Like, I know we get a lot of cartoons and stuff, but like that's a main Disney character. That is Disney. He hasn't had much at all. We haven't seen much besides it's like cartoons you see on like Disney Channel. Like, I know they play that more like the safe character, but like, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Mickey Mouse rebooted in some way, shape, or form.
Disney would never like. You said like Disney's kind of protective of their image and everything, and this was definitely a step out. Disney would never allow this, but I would love a scene with like Mickey Mouse just being a total like douchebag narcissist because everybody loves him.
That would actually, no, that would be too far. That would definitely be too far.
That would have been too far, but like, I would love to see that.
That would be fun to watch. Yeah. But no, I said, I could see them like, I feel like they are on a track of like rebooting some other characters. Cause again, like from my personal point of view, no idea about these characters. I knew they existed, couldn't tell you what they were from. Rebooting it, that was a fun way of watching it. You got to learn a little bit. You got to go through their history of the show that they had, which is accurate to the show that they had that I could have watched. But like, I feel like they might do that a little more. But I think they had the idea of rebooting, but just no. Like I want to know who kind of came through with the idea of like, let's not do it that way. Because I feel like they had someone like write up a script and they're like, here, it's a perfect like Rescue Rangers, and someone's like, just no, let's do this instead. And that's what they ran with. Yeah,
I feel like this was such an original movie using unoriginal ideas. Because like this, in terms of the plot, like this is the most cookie cutter thing in the world. Like
they didn't try too hard there.
Yeah, a 2-year-old could predict like what was going to happen next.
Yeah.
But like I was saying, like this isn't a cinematic masterpiece. It's not. It's not what it was designed.
I feel like that was the Disney aspect of that movie. They kind of had to follow that.
And well, I think that's also kind of part of this formula of like of creating a movie like this is there's so many characters and things going on like that just don't relate. Like like what was it? E.T. versus Superman
or Batman.
Yeah, like
that was so dumb.
That is the most.
He's like E.T. Sorry,
which
it's fine.
Like, I don't know. Did Fox do E.T.? I don't because
don't know.
Disney definitely doesn't have the rights to Batman.
No, not at all.
So
and
I'm pretty sure they said Batman.
They did.
It was like
on the poster.
Yeah, so I feel like they would have had to pay somebody.
Well, I think they did because again, like I saw this, like just mentioned this too a little bit. Like at one point after like one of the opening scenes where they go to like their buddy's apartment before he gets kidnapped, when Dale or whichever one is like walking out, he's on some like street corner, like sidewalk, and there's a poster on a building behind him of Gucci, but it's Dobby, like the house elf or whatever from Harry Potter. Again,
which is Warner.
Yeah, which is Warner. Exactly. Same thing with.
There was a billboard for Lego Miserable.
Yeah,
that was. What was your favorite cameo that you can like think of like off the top of your head? I'm gonna have to go watch this again and just like.
That's the thing.
go
There were
frame
so
by
many.
frame.
I couldn't tell you. I don't know.
I mean, obviously, Ugly Sonic was.
That was probably one of the most memorable.
And just the whole like they would just like
focus on his
focusing
teeth.
on his teeth. Yes, like that was
That was so funny.
the perfect example of knowing what the issue is and just
Yeah.
like just going
all in
going
on it.
straight for it.
Like they didn't hold back at all.
Lego Miserable was fun. E.T. versus Batman was cool.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like Ant-Man.
Yeah.
That was
Paul
like
Rudd
that
on
was
there.
so unexpected because that's an actual like Paul Rudd bit that he's done where he's
Yeah.
like oh yeah I saw her about Ant-Man and I thought they're talking about like like your auntie or whatever and like Ant-Man and like the fact that they took that super deep cut that he like referenced once
Yeah.
and made it an actual thing.
Someone's probably just like a super Paul Rudd fan and they like pitched it and they're like, yeah, okay. And they're like, oh, okay. They got to like,
Plus
be
like
Paul Rudd.
it's Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd in anything is just
yeah. Oh, he's so fun.
is gonna be amazing.
Yeah. He's a safe bet to go with.
So, I mean, we started talking about this a little bit. This was a very original idea in this reboot culture that
Yeah.
we're in. I mean, the next few weeks we're talking about Top Gun Maverick, which is a reboot. We're talking about Jurassic
not a
World,
reboot, is it?
which is a reboot. It depends on how you
say. How do you look at reboot? Because
Because
Maverick
it's
is not
not-
like I see a reboot as like taking like almost like West Side Story. Mm-hmm. That's a reboot.
No, that is a remake.
A remake.
Because
okay.
so you have
A reboot is you're taking the same characters and making another movie. 'Cause
yeah,
that's
a
like
reboot. A reboot
continuation.
is so like this example, for example, is a reboot. You're taking Rescue Rangers from the
Okay.
'90s and you're bringing them back. Like you're restarting it.
Yeah.
You're rebooting it. Like if you were shutting down your computer, turning it on. Where like West Side Story, it's the exact same story. It's the exact same thing,
Okay.
just being told from
Right.
in a different way from a different director. And so that's a remake because, or like the live action Disney remakes, like
Yeah.
Beauty and the Beast, Lion King. It's the exact same thing, but it's
Okay.
As
So it's
they're
remake, not
slight-
reboot. Okay.
different ways in how they're saying.
I
don't
get
know.
that then.
It's like calling Top Gun, like you could just call it a sequel.
See that, and that's how
Technically,
I view that. Is yeah, because like he's coming back and playing the same character. Like it's.
I
all,
would, I would say I would call it a reboot, even though it's
same with the Jurassic World
same thing with like Jurassic
franchise.
World.
Really,
Just
I
Jurassic
definitely-
World especially is a reboot because
Yeah.
you're taking this old
just the
concept.
whole movie and remaking it.
Yeah,
It was so much better.
The sequel trilogy.
Again,
is
I've
a
just never
reboot.
seen the original trilogy, so it's. Oh my god! I don't think I need to. They do a pretty good way of explaining it, and like I can just get Chris Pratt.
You should watch Jurassic Park because it is a fantastic movie
Yeah.
from a fantastic director.
Yeah.
It broke. They almost didn't do CG or anything. Like they almost didn't show the dinosaurs. And like, imagine the world today if Steven Spielberg didn't take the leap and go all in. We're tying this back into Chip and Dale. If he didn't go all in with his dinosaur movie, we might never have the same technology we have today.
That's fair. That's fair.
That's some off the cuff food for thought for you there.
I got you.
But anyway, like we have this reboot culture, and this was a very original way of rebooting
Yeah.
an old franchise. Are there any other like franchises, Disney or anything that you would like to see rebooted? And like how would you do it? Pitch your perfect reboot.
Man, I don't know. Because, like, that's the risky thing. Is like anything I might have enjoyed back then or, like, was cool with, like.
Well, that's the thing, though. Like, Chip and Dale were not, like, cool. It was,
Like, I was.
Saturday morning, like, Disney
right.
show.
That's true. That's true. This is going to be tough. I was big on Power Rangers, man. They kind of got their reboot.
They did get a reboot.
Awful.
It was garbage.
It was horrible, dude.
I didn't actually watch it.
Oh, don't. You don't want to. I was really disappointed in that. I would like to see a good reboot. Because again, but here's the thing. I mean, they still have Power Ranger. You can still see some sort of Power Ranger series airing every Saturday on TV. They still do that, which blows my mind. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I mean, like, I don't know. There wasn't much I really kind of.
So the Power Rangers reboot was garbage.
Yeah.
How would you do a Power Rangers reboot?
Man, I don't know. Just not. I would just take the movie that they did make and just do everything different.
Every decision that they made, I'm gonna do the opposite.
Yeah. You know, it'd be really fun to see if they just rebooted Iron Man, just like redid them. That's a joke. That's an actual joke. I would never do.
Your mic and Graham is gone for the episode. He is no longer here. It is just me. We're gonna go solo for the rest of this show because Graham is officially for real kicked off the podcast.
That's tough. I guess I'm actually muted, so yeah.
I really hope my mic is picking that up because you were actually legit muted.
That's tough. No, that's fair. That's fair. Again, all jokes. No, I hope to God they never redo that movie. They can't.
I hope that Marvel just leave Iron Man dead. I don't want Tom. I mean, it would be cool to see Tom Cruise be Iron Man, but
see, that would have been a fun. That would have been a fun.
No, just leave Iron Man dead. Just he's gone.
Is Iron Man like a big part of Secret Wars at all? Is he ever dead? No.
Iron Man before 2008. Iron Man was a D-list character.
Yeah.
No one cared
just
about
crazy.
Iron Man until Robert Downey Jr. and Jon Favreau changed the world.
Jon Favreau's had a hold on this world for a minute.
Jon Favreau is
dad.
Is everything great about the world.
Yeah.
I love Jon Favreau. If I could reboot something, I want to reboot the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh shoot. It kind of got its reboot, but dude, I would like to see another.
That's the same thing as like Power Rangers though. Like it got a reboot and they looked like
they just
aliens.
Yeah.
And the whole plot was literally the plot of Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was.
I don't even think. I know. I saw the first one that they did. Didn't they make a second one though? It straight up had like Stephen Amell played Casey Jones.
They did.
Yeah. Because I wanted to see that so bad. I just never. I mean, shoot. I don't know. I was probably like 13, 14.
Yeah.
And there was no chance I was about to.
Well, and I loved. Was it in the 90s? I loved the original like live action one that they did.
Yeah, and they had like the actual like suits, the costume.
Yeah,
like
1990. Those movies.
I remember watching those.
Were so good, but they were like silly. Like, I want to make like a dark and gritty like drama. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles,
so
like
dope.
Dive into like,
and they could team up with the Power Rangers. They actually do that in the
cinematic
comics.
universe.
Sure they do that. Dude,
well,
we just get a
actually,
like Hasbro.
Actually, there's a theory.
Oh shoot!
If you read the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle comic book,
okay,
they're these turtles and they're in a grate, right? Mm-hmm. And there's a big truck that flies by.
Yeah,
and then a bunch of ooze drops and it sprays everywhere. And there's a kid who is watching. If you read the Daredevil comic books, there's a kid named Matt Murdock who runs into the street
to save a turtle, right?
It was to save a person. I think he like pushed like an old lady out of the way. And there's a truck that drives by and a bunch of chemicals drop out. So if I mean I'm just laying out the facts here. It's all there. It's all in the publishing. Daredevil and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles exist in the same universe.
I don't think so.
It is my headcanon. It is.
That would be dope. Honestly, I would have nothing wrong, dude. If Daredevil pulls up and you just got a turtle next to him,
casually,
I'd be all for it.
That's gonna be the next the new Daredevil Disney Plus show.
Episode 6 just drops with like Leonardo coming in, just like be like, yeah, what's up? Like
it's just a silhouette of the turtles, and you just see like the colors of their headbands.
That would actually be so sick. That would be so sick.
Completely off the rails. This was a fun episode.
This was fun. That was really
Yeah, Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. Just go for it. You know, I want more movies just to have some fun.
Yeah.
With the stuff that they're making.
People need to go all in a little more, really.
Yeah.
Because it's especially recently in all the media, it's been paying off. It's been doing good.
It has been paying off. I'm sure Disney's kicking themselves for not monetizing this a little more.
100%.
This has been the Popcorn Hangover. We've been talking Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. Make sure you follow us on all of the things, Instagram, TikTok, patreon.com/popcorn hangover.
Definitely.
Get our exclusive bonus show, the Parking Lot Talk,
man. New episode dropping
all the time. We have so many things that we aren't talking about here on the show that we do talk about there. So make sure you check it out. Any last words?
I think I'm good.
All right, that's it.
Peace.